Shalom, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash, the honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful at Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Ak Wasap. Today's lesson is entitled, When I Saw This, I Was Afraid. And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, the true names of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. And as always, the sit-downs, the lessons, the street speaking is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel, the Most High. All right, the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. All right, so today we'll be talking about the glorious return of our Lord Yahushai, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He's a so-called black man with white woolly hair. And the image that you see on the screen is an artist's depiction of what he would look like according to what's written in the scripts. Now, before our Lord Yahushai come, the MOTB got to get pushed out, all right? And we got to constantly blow the alarm on the MOTB because that's the prophecy that Esau is going to be pushing out all throughout the world in the oikomene sense. That's the Greek word for the word world when you read in Revelation 3 and 10. All right. The hour of temptation that should come upon the world. Before Yahushua come, Esau is going to push that. Let's just get that real quick. This is Revelation 14 and 9. Then the third angel followed them shouting. You know what? This is in the NLT. Let's put it in the KJV. This is the Blue Letter Bible, by the way. Elder Apostle Tahar put us on this and allows us to go into the languages that the Bible is translated from. So Revelation 14 and 9 says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image. All right, worshiping the system. The beast is this power structure that's ran by the Edomites. You got NATO, the EU, and with America being a part of it, collectively make up the empire of the Edomites, or this beast system. All right, this kingdom. In his image, all right, because the image, this place, it mirrors the ancient Roman Empire, you know, from having the Latin language to having the silver coins with eagles on them to having the great military, the architecture, and even this truth. I remember Yahushua came in the Roman Empire, and the spirit of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua is in these times by way of the truth and our leaders. So, you know, we can run parallels on how this system is an image of the Roman Empire. You know, it's like just like that. You had immigration there, you had inflation there. You know, you had all these different bugged out ways of life and philosophies and all kind of stuff. So if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, you receiving this technology. And let's get some visuals. And I've been showing this a lot in a lot of these videos, but hey, you know, we're a broken record. We're constantly, you know, saying and bringing out the same information because Jake scripturally is known as a rebellious house, impotent people, stiff-hearted. So we got to constantly, you know, force this truth. You know, not force it, but, you know, constantly push out this vibration of truth. So you have this implantable technology that they will be pushing out. All right. And if you take it, then that means you're worshiping the system. And that word worship meaning you have a great respect, reverence, you fear it, you paying obeisance, you know, and this is something that you highly extol when you worship this system by taking this technology. Now let's see the penalty for those who take it. Verse 10, the same individuals that take this implantable technology shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. So this is poetic. All right, it's basically you're gonna drink a strong, potent shot of indignation. All right, it's just without mixture. You know, when you drinking liquors or tequilas or strong drink, cognac, you know, people, you know, if you're drinking cognac, people generally mix it with something. You know, you could add a little orange juice to some cognac with some lavender. You know what I mean? And that can kind of give it like a cool taste to take the edge off the cognac. But see, these people who receive this technology in them, they drinking this strong drink of indignation without mixture. So it's going to be potent. It's going to be very bitter. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So the individuals that take this technology, they're going to get destroyed by Yahweh Shai. And they're already pushing this technology, you know. I got so many articles going into this technology. This is one, this is one, this is one. That's three right there going into that implantable technology. But the point I want to pretty much push out is before Yahweh Shai comes, this technology is going to get pushed out. So just want to put that out there. Now we're going to go on to 2nd Esdras 13. We're not going to read all of it, but we're going to go on to the glorious return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. 2nd Esdras 13 and 1. I'm going to start from the top. It says, and it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. All right, 1 second. Okay. Once again, verse 2, and lo, there rose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man, and this is Yahweh Shai coming from the spiritual realm, all right? And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. So this is Yahweh Shai coming with the innumerable angels. All right, when we go over here to Psalm 68, it speaks about how the angels are in the thousands. This is Psalm 68:17, the chariots, which are the so-called UFOs, and behind it, this artist's depiction of what Yahweh Shai would look like, it, you know, if he were to come. You have this chariot. All right, scriptures call these chariots of Israel, will within the will, whirlwinds, doves flying, a swift cloud, various titles. All right, so this is what the angels travel in, and Esau is terrified of them. The chariots of the Most High, 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord, Yahweh Shai, is among them as in Sinai and in the holy place. So the thousands that Yahweh Shai is coming with is the angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And it links up to what's written here in Revelation, the 1st chapter. Because when Yahweh Shai come in, everybody's going to be terrified because it's going to be far above what these people hope for. This is Revelation 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds. All right. So is he coming with clouds, or is he coming with thousands of the thousands of heaven? So what is he coming with? He's coming on UFOs, so-called. Right. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. Every eye, even the animals. You know. This is the creator, the son of the highest coming. And they also which pierced him, if you can receive it, reincarnation is biblical. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. People going to bug the hell out when they see Yahweh Shai coming in power and great glory. So when we go back to 2nd Esdras 13, towards the end, it says, all things trembled that were seen under him. And that's talking about people. People going to be terrified. And whatsoever the voice out of his mouth, it's like, and whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire. So when Yahweh Shai is sending out these commands for these aircrafts to shoot out concentrated fire or laser beams, it's going to happen. Matter of fact, let's get back to Psalm 68. And this is a psalm in David, which the Lord is building the tabernacle of David. When you go here to the 32nd verse, Psalm 68:32, it says, sing unto Yahweh, ye kingdoms of the earth, and sing praises unto the Lord, Selah. And we sing praises by going out and teaching and preaching his doctrine. That's a form of a song. All right. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, he doth send out his voice, and that mighty voice. So we get an example of that mighty voice that Yahweh Shai is going to be sending out. He's going to be sending out commands for these chariots to shoot out laser beams. And Shabbat Shalom, by the way. All right. We are in the Sabbath, and Thursday at evening is the Day of Atonement. Okay. From Thursday evening to Friday evening, That's the Day of Atonement, and that's the time where you afflict your souls with fasting. So you're gonna do a dry fast, no food, no water for the 24 hours, right? So continue on in Psalm 68 and 33. To him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, these chariots, because chariots go back to the beginning. Lo, he doth send out his voice, and that mighty voice. Ascribe ye strength unto the Most High, for his excellency is over Israel, and his strength is in the cloud. So the Lord got these aircrafts with power. Right, they're already going thousands of miles per hour, defying the laws of gravity and going into waters and not making any splashes. So, you know, strength in them aircrafts. O Yahweh, thou art terrible out of thy holy places. The power of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be Yahweh. And that's what's going to be happening. The Lord is going to magnify his people with strength and power. Incredible strength and power, and we have examples of it all in the scripts. Verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. So when Yahweh Shai come on these aircrafts, you're going to have the armies of the heathen starting off with Esau, and they're going to want to fight. All right, let's precept it over here in Revelation 17. And they have entitled it The Doom of Babylon. So this is Revelation 17 and 14, victory of the Lamb. The Lamb is Yahweh Shai. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. And that's what we're going to read in 2nd Esdras 13. The Lamb overcoming the armies of the heathen. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings. He's the top guy. Yahweh Shai is the top guy. And they that are called with him are with him are called and chosen and faithful. All right. So back in 2nd Esdras 13 and 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven all over the place, north, east, south, and west, to subdue the man that came out of the sea, came out of the spiritual realm. And I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Now, this great mountain is talking about an aircraft, but when Esdras saw this in the vision, you know, he just used the knowledge and wisdom that he had in the era that he was in. So when he saw it, he said, look, it looked like a great mountain, you know, but he's flying upon it. Let's get a couple of precepts of the Lord Yahweh Shai flying on an aircraft. Let's get this over here in Isaiah 19. And shalom to the brothers on the comment board. Yahweh Bashim Shai, Barak Thumb. Bros got precepts. I'll be over there in a minute. This is Isaiah 19 and 1, the burden of Egypt, or the prophecies of Babylon the Great, which is America. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. So this mountain that Esdras saw the Lord Yahweh Shai on is a swift cloud, or a so-called UFO. He's coming on these aircrafts. The Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Just like we read in the above verses. Let's hit 3 again. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. This is the Lord Yahweh Shai coming with the angels. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. So, you know, all these different lifestyles and philosophies, the heart of Egypt, the life, you know, the vibration that this place pushes out is going to melt, or it's going to be brought low. When you melt in a candle, you see that wax is being brought low from the heat. So that's what Yahweh Shai is going to do to everything in this earth. It's going to bring it low. So we in 6 now. But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. This is the Lord Yahweh Shai flying on an aircraft. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and could not. So Esdras couldn't determine where this aircraft came from. But it came from the spiritual realm. All right. Came from the spiritual realm. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So let's get some visuals. It's always good to have the visuals out. And we also read this in Revelation 11. No, Revelation 12 and 7 on down, going into the war in heaven. All right, when these Christians roll up talking about, Satan had got a band of angels to fight against the Lord, and they fought in the heavens, and then they became the fallen ones. That's all dogma, Christian dogma. Okay, blue angels. Let's type in the blue angels. These are Esau. When you read in Revelation 12 and 7, where it says that the dragon fought and his angels, this is what it's talking about. And the water Yahweh Bashim Al Shai for our elders and apostles of great millstone that taught us his truth. Okay. So these are aircraft. These are Esau's angels. And he's even entitled them the blue angels. So these aircrafts that got weapons on them. You also got the F-35 Raptor, the B-2 bomber, these different stealth aircrafts that's weaponized with missiles and even, laser technology. This is what they're going to be coming flying on, trying to fight against the Lamb and the angels, the war in heaven. Isaiah 34 goes into that too. Back in 2nd Esdras 13 and 7, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven and could not. So he couldn't determine where that aircraft came from. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So these aircrafts going to be flying all over the place, trying to fight against the Lord Yahushua. They're going to be terrified, because remember, all things trembled that were seen under him, as it says in the latter end of the 3rd verse. So when they see this technology that Yahushua come, they're going to be terrified, but the Lord going to put the spirit on them to fight. He's going to make them fight. And lo, verse 9, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came. All right, so these aircrafts, they're going to be flying towards the chariots. They're going to be shooting out whatever they shooting out, right? That's the violence of the multitude that came. Shooting out their laser beams, shooting out their rockets, their missiles, all right? 9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. So he didn't prepare, the Lord Yahushua didn't prepare himself. I grew up in the era where you fought, you had fist fights and stuff, after school, before school, during school, at home, at the park. And when somebody roll up and they want to fight, you pretty much, prepare yourself. You get in your fighting stance. You know what I mean? Make sure your shoes laced up. So when the violence of the multitude that came to Yahushua, they shooting out whatever they shooting out. Yahushua ain't lifting up his hands. You know how you lift up your hands? Like I said, when you finna fight, you lift up your hands. You get in your fighting stance. Yahushua ain't lifting up his hands. He not holding a sword nor any instrument of war. This is Yahushua, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. He got technology that the heathen don't even know about. But only I saw that he sent out his mouth, or his command, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast sparks and tempests. So this is, poetic. It's basically Yahushua commanded these aircrafts to shoot out laser beams. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude. So these aircrafts, they're going to get burnt up. They're going to get destroyed and burnt up. Let's precept it real quick over here in Isaiah 34, going into the war in heaven. Isaiah 34 and 1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. This is a very important message. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and is a fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. And that's what we're reading in 2nd Esdras 13. The heathens getting delivered to the slaughter. Out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Laser beams came out on him. All right. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses. The mountains shall be melted with their blood. They all gonna get destroyed. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, the armies of the heathen. This is the war in heaven. This is Revelation 12 and 7, more in depth. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. All right. The heathens is going to get destroyed, and Babylon is going to get destroyed. And all their hosts shall fall down. The armies is going to fall out of the heavens. Once again, the war in heaven. As a leaf falleth from off the vine, and as the fallen fig from the fig tree. And Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Tahar, went into this and explained how this is going into the arcing fashion of the missiles. All right, when a fig casts forth its leaves, they fall in the arcing fashion. For behold, my sword shall be bathed in heaven, and this backs it up. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So now when we go here back to 2 Esdras 13 and 10 again, but only I saw that he had sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flame and breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, laser beams coming out of the aircrafts, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flame and breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So that's the vision of the Lord Yahushua coming in and destroying the armies of the heathen. Now, if we go over here to Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter, I'm going to check the comment board, get a couple of those precepts. Habakkuk, he saw the same vision, but he wrote it down differently. And that's how it is with the prophecies. It'd be the same visions, but they just be written down differently. And Shalom, once again, to the Akim on the comment board. You got GMS in his likeness. Yaquab, sons of the seers. And then Strive for the Masteries, 144. Strive for the Masteries, 144. Bob put Isaiah 64 and 1. Oh, that thou wouldest rend the heavens, tear the rulership of the heathens up. That thou wouldest come down, that the mountains might flow down at thy presence, the governments of the heathen, as when thou melted fire, as when the melting fire burneth, the fire causes the waters to boil, to make thy name known to thine adversaries, that the nations may tremble at thy presence. And we're reading about the coming of the Lord Yahushua, the presence of the Lord Yahushua, and how these nations going to tremble. This is Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 1. It's entitled, The Most High Deliverance of His People, a prayer of Habakkuk the prophet upon Shigionoth. O Yahweh, I heard thy speech and was afraid. O Yahweh, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known, and wrath, remember mercy. That's a prayer that you want to do right there. Add this to your prayers in spirit. In wrath, remember mercy. In the Hebrew is Barakaz, Vazaka war. I want to say, let's see. Yahweh. So Baragaz, that's the Ba, the Ra, the God, and Zah. It's in wrath. Ba as a prefix is in. Ragaz is wrath. Raham is another way of saying mercy. You got chesed, that's mercy, and you got raham, that's mercy. So in wrath, raham, mercy, that's the tha, za, chawar. Tha, za, chawar, remember. And wrath, mercy, thou remember. Because, man, the Lord finna really turn up. All right, verse 3. The Most High came from Teman, the Holy One from Mount Paran. The Holy One is the Lord Yahushua. The prophecy, it says that thou won't suffer thy Holy One to see corruption. What David was prophesying was that Yahushua, when Yahushua was going to, lay down his life for the sheep, his body wasn't going to corrupt. He would be risen back up before his body started decaying. So that Holy One is talking about Yahushua, the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. Just like we read in 2 Esdras 13 to the top, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. When the Lord Yahushua come, he's going to cover the heavens. It's going to be so many of these aircrafts. That's why it says that they was afraid and yet durst fight. See, when we see videos of chariots, sometimes we see one, sometimes we see two, we may see a cluster of them, but it's going to come a time when the Lord Yahweh Shai come, these aircrafts, is going to be thousands of them in the air, in the heavens, different sizes. Habakkuk 3:3 in the middle. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. His brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Talking about the laser beams. When you read this in another translation, all right, let's see if we can get the NLT, New Living Translation. It says his coming is as brilliant as the sunrise. Yeah, he's coming with power and great glory. Rays of light flash from his hands. Hand represents power. So the rays of light that's coming from his power is the laser beams. We read about them in 2nd Esdras 13. The rays of light or the laser beams, where his awesome power is hidden. We read in Psalm 68, towards the end, his strength is in the clouds. It's power. It's so much power in these aircrafts, and these aircrafts are living beings. That's the wild part. The aircrafts are living beings. Ezekiel, the 1st chapter, goes into it. You know, wherever the spirit went, they went, the angels went. So these aircrafts are living as well. You know, remember the Lord is a power of the living. And they try to make movies out of it, you know, like, what is that movie? Not Terminator, but what is that damn movie, man? Transformers. How those cars were living cars. You know, you had that one movie from back in the day. It was a bug. It was a beetle, and the beetle, it was living. It was driving around, it was picking up people and doing this. So these aircrafts, man, they got power in them, and we're gonna get all that knowledge of them, when the time comes. Verse 5. Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth out of his feet. So laser beams coming out of these aircrafts. He stood and measured the earth. He judged it. When you're measuring something, you judging how much substance is in the cup. If you got a measuring cup, you're putting some dry substance in there. You're measuring, or you're gauging or judging how much of the substance is in the cup. So you come in to measure the earth, you come in to judge this place. He beheld and drove asunder the nations, the armies of the heathen, like we read in 2nd Esdras 13, Isaiah 34. The everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. The Lord is going to overthrow the governments. He's going to have the crowns on his head. Not that he will have actual crowns, but it's just symbolic to how he's taking over the mountains and the hills. He's conquering this place. His ways are everlasting. The Lord Yahweh Shai is from the beginning. I saw the tents of Kashan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Median did tremble. That's these nations, these heathens. They're going to tremble. We read it in Revelation 1:7. We read it in 2nd Esdras 13. And we also read it in Isaiah 34. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thy anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thy horses and thy chariots of salvation? So that's what Yahweh Shai coming on, the chariots of salvation. But it's going to seem like the Lord was mad at the rivers. All right, the Lord is going to be doing all kind of stuff. Now, 2nd Esdras 16, it goes a little more into how it's going to be all these tsunamis and waves and stuff going on. This is 2nd Esdras 16:9. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, the laser beams. And who is he that may quench it? He shall cast out lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. Here's a point. The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea arises with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. So when the Lord Yahweh Shai come, it's going to be all kind of tsunamis and waves, and is the Lord mad against the rivers? Was thy anger against the rivers, the waters? It's gonna be all kind of crazy shit happening. 13 in 2nd Esdras 16. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, going into the ICBM missiles. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The ultimate plague, Zechariah 14 and 12, is the nuclear destruction. All right. Now, let's see something real quick. We can draw another parallel with Yahweh Shah return. Is it 14? Revelation 14. Okay, we'll write Revelation 14 out, and then that'll conclude the lesson. Revelation 14 and 14, 144. And I look and beheld a white cloud. This is Yahweh Shai coming on the aircraft. And upon the cloud, one sat like the Son of Man. See, when we was reading 2 Esdras 13, when Esdras saw the Lord Yahweh Shai coming, he explained it as the Lord flying on a great mountain, right? So when Apostle John saw the vision, he said, behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like the Son of Man. Same vision is just described differently. Another good example of the same vision and it being described differently, Daniel the 2nd chapter and Daniel the 7th chapter. It's talking about the same thing, but it's just described differently. It's going into these empires that's going to come up. And then prophesy about America and then prophesy about Yahweh Shai coming to destroy him. So in Daniel the 2nd chapter, it likened these kingdoms to a great standing image, you know, with the head of gold. That was Nebuchadnezzar. And then you had the silver, the bronze, and then you had the iron, and the iron with miry clay. But then in Daniel the 7th chapter, it likened these kingdoms to beast, you know. So that's an example of how it'd be the same prophecies. It's just talking about the same thing. It's just written down differently. And this is another example. Revelation 14 and 14. And I look and beheld a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like the Son of Man, the Lord Yahweh Shai, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. Sharp sickle represents destruction. All right. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap. For the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. The harvest is the end of the world. And the Lord Yahweh Shai thrusting in his sickle to reap, that's the laser beams. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Let's read it in another part of the scripts. 2 Esdras 13 and 4. And whenever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire. So that's that sickle that Yahweh Shai is going to thrust in the earth. For the time is come for thee to reap, back in Revelation 14 and 15 towards the end. For the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. Once again, the harvest is the end of the world. When we go to Matthew 13, going into the sower and the seed parable, it speaks about the angels being the reapers, and the harvest is the end of the world. Let's see. I want to say it's Matthew 13 and 38. Let's see. 38. The enemy. Okay. Let's see. The tares explained. Then Yahweh Shai sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. And that's what will happen a lot of times with Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai will be speaking in parables, going over everybody's head. But then the disciples will come after and say, could you break down what you were saying? Could you let us know what you was, talking about? It says, he answered and said unto him, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. Or the good seed is the word. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. That's the Israelites. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. It's these Edomites that got up in amongst the good seed. So you got tares, you got jakes that look like jakes. They may have, brown skin, woolly hair, but their spirit is that of an Edomite. That would be classified as a tare. And we know them by their fruits. Yahushua said a tree may be known by its fruits. The fruit is the actions, the behavior, the different things a person yield forth. Israel is the salt of the sea. We got flavor. We the former of all things. All right, we mighty, we powerful. These Edomites don't share those characteristics. So we can spot an Edomite through their behavior. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. These Edomites, they've sown their seed amongst the good seed during slavery. Here's the point. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. So we kind of going into that here in Revelation 14 and 15. All right. And another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, bring the destruction. For the time is come for thee to reap. It's time for you to bring the destruction. For the harvest of the earth is ripe. So the harvest is the end of the world. Ripe meaning it's ready. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Shout out laser beams. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having the sharp sickle. Angels is finna be out here shooting out laser beams, Akim. And another angel came out from the altar which had the power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had that sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sickle and reap, and gather the clusters of the vine in the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. These clusters of vine, these are Edomites. Because remember, Yahushua is coming to destroy these Edomites first and foremost. That's the precept with this over in Isaiah 63. Who is this that coming from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. So this is Yahushua traveling in the greatness of his strength. He's flying on these aircrafts. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. So it looked like Yahushua in this vision that Isaiah saw. It looked like Yahushua was full of blood. All right. And there was an ancient custom. When we made wine, we got the clusters of the grapes. We put them in a little small area, and we would stump the grapes, and then that would produce the blood of the grapes. And then you would preserve the blood of the grapes. You'll let it ferment, and then that make wine. So it looked like in this vision, Yahushua was all bloody. But he's not going to be bloody. It's just, poetic. I have trodden the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury. And their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. And this is parabolic. The Lord Yahushua is coming to bring all type of destruction and judgment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. Remember, we read in Revelation 14 that it is time for thee to reap. For the time is come for thee to reap. Why? Because Yahushua, the day of vengeance is burning in his heart. He up there waiting, And I looked, and there was none help. Remember, Yahushua is coming with the angels. So it's not like he's coming by himself. The prophecy say he's coming. That man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. What it's saying is that this destruction is going to be allotted to Yahushua. All the credit, all the destruction, the salvation that Yahushua is coming with is going to all be credit to him through the Father. You feel me? And I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore, my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. I will tread down the people in my anger, and I will make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth, the aircrafts, the war in heaven. Do not let these Christians roll up on y'all. Once again, talking about Revelation 12 and 7 is talking about this actual spiritual demon Satan fighting against the Lord and taking a band of angels with him and coming down to the earth and being classified as the fallen ones. Let's finish this out in Revelation 14. We're almost done. 40 minutes in, I'll get the brother precepts. Uh, 18. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. Basically, destroy the Edomites. The Edomites is likened unto grapes over here in Isaiah 63. And the angel thrust in the sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast into the great wine press of the wrath of the Most High, into the destruction. And the wine press was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the wine press, even into the horse's bridle, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. So it's going to be so much blood out here, so much death. Remember, we read in Isaiah 34 that mountains shall be melted with their blood. It's going to be death all around here. All right, so that's that. Let's get this with the brother God strive for the masteries 144 by. He put 1 Samuel 2 and 10. The adversaries of Yahweh shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them lightning bolts. Yahweh shall judge the ends of the earth. He shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed. Great priest at the end with, because that's what we waiting on. We waiting for the Lord to strengthen his king and to exalt the horn of his anointed, put us in power. All right, so this has been, when I saw this, I was afraid going into the vision of Yahweh Shai coming, and we pushed the vibration that before Yahweh Shai come, that implantable technology gotta come. All right, so Lord willing, was edifying to the elect, the 144,000, and the rest of the elect. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash, and double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth. Shalom, Washabaf, Shalom.